Hi everyone, my name is Bridget Haberkern. The reason why I made this video is to inform you of something that is an issue in the legal medical marijuana industry that needs to be brought to light. Some of you are unaware that there are legally established medical marijuana co-ops and collectives in California. And I was one of the producers and board of directors of one called Green Coast Co-op. Green Coast Co-op is a state-certified, nonprofit, medical marijuana agricultural co-op operating since March of 2010, which was formerly located in Bakersfield, California. We have board of directors, bylaws, shareholders, stocks, and a certified CPA that was in charge of our bookkeeping. We grew 65% of our medicine. We paid the franchise tax board, sales taxes, federal taxes, and employee taxes, just like any other business, but without the write-offs and losses. Most importantly, we open up legally according to all state and local laws. Now, I would like to tell you our story and what has prompted me to make this video. Back in 2010, Kern County had an ordinance in place when we opened, which we were established and abiding by. We obtained a list from the Kern County Code Compliance Office that stated marijuana approved dispensaries. A moratorium was later established, capping any more shops that were allowed to open. So we were approved by the County of Kern. About 2 years later, an ordinance was put on the ballot by our local Board of Supervisors called Measure G. The Board of Supervisors made claims there was criminal activity, shots fired, loitering, littering, and noise connected with medical marijuana co-ops and collectives. On July 13th of 2012, on a Friday, we received a notice from Kern County Code Compliance to close down our business in 24 hours. 24 hours to close down our business. This was not a courtesy letter. We never even had one complaint. So we mailed our response by Monday, which was according to their very own internal policy, which states, "What do I do if I receive a letter alleging a violation?" The first letter you should receive is mailed to you as a courtesy after we have received a complaint. It is intended to merely advise you. Please contact the Code Compliance Unit as soon as possible. We will be happy to discuss the information outlined in your notice with you and to go over any and all options available to you. Not us. They gave us one option, which was to close down our business in 24 hours. We gave them time and opportunity to prove up their claims against us. We received a letter stating instead that they agree they did not give us enough time and to disregard their previous notice. They are working on a new notice and order. I didn't ask for that. I want evidence of why we're being told to close down our business in 24 hours. Imagine claims being made against you and you want proof of those claims, but instead the accuser says, "Disregard those claims. I'll be back with something else." They had well over 76 days to give us evidence to back their claims. In a nutshell, Kern County Code Compliance received over 27 notices from us. We agreed to accept their accusations, close down our business, and move out as long as they can provide us with strict, sworn proof of their claims against us. We have never argued. We have never refused to comply. Kern County Code Compliance could not provide us with any proof of a nuisance. In the series of notices, we stated, if you cannot provide us with evidence, then you are the nuisance and you must cease and desist from all enforcement actions, which is again part of their very own internal guidelines. This is a direct quote from their website. If it is determined that the violation does not exist, the case will be closed and no further action will be taken. We also got a notary to oversee half of the notices to prove that there isn't any type of dishonor involved and to make the process official. Kern County Code Compliance did not stop. They only became more and more aggressive. We received numerous threats from Kern County Code Compliance, including one that states we will be fined $10,000 per day and charged criminally. Our 72-year-old landlord, who was a United States Korean War veteran, was being threatened $50,000 and a lien against his property if he did not evict us. Our landlord stated verbally to the Board of Supervisors that he could not afford to have us leave.
I'd like to say one thing first.
Would you please state your name, sir?
My name is Joe Yepez.
Thank you.
16 years of military service, fought in the war for this. To have my life savings tried to be taken away by a board that won't give me an answer. I have a lease agreement with these people. They can fine me if they're not in violation of the law. I need the board's hearing today to be able to evict them. I can't evict them without that legal binding that they have violated the law. My attorney tells me that. What I'm asking for, I need a 30-day grace period from the date the board hearing what you find today here, so that I can legally serve them with a notice to close shop without being fined for anything. That's all the money my wife and I have to live on. Now, you want to put us on the street, and just all I get is my veterans. That's what it looks like. That's what our government's coming to. That the individuals have no rights anymore. I don't understand it. But I'm proud I served in the United States military, and I fought one war. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yepez.
And we are the best tenants he's ever had. At the same time, while we were going to court, the IRS contacted our business to notify us that we have been randomly selected to have our business audited. And when the IRS visited our business, he stated that we were the most well-documented medical marijuana shop he's ever audited. We received 3 inspections from Kern County Code Compliance and the Sheriff's Department. The first one with men in tactical gear, battering rams, and a supervising sheriff sergeant intimidating me on camera. They even sent a threatening fine to my 87-year-old father, including all of us. Kern County Code Compliance claimed they had evidence my dad was in charge of marijuana cultivation in our shop. Later, they had to admit at a hearing that they had no evidence or proof that he ever was involved.
Again, the tenants and persons determined to be responsible are Richard Habakern and Bridget Habakern and Jimmy Castellanos. This is provided by Kern County Ordinance for cultivation of medical marijuana in violation of Kern County Ordinance.
They only submitted one, and the evidence is sufficient, and I have 5 copies for each of the supervisors to take a look at. So this took place, and it states where they did come in, they did see that the nuisance was abated. And I would also like to ask a question. How was it determined that my almost 90-year-old father was a part of the cultivation? It doesn't make sense to me. He was there visiting me.
The gentleman speak for a long time
We've already
about
spoken.
the
We've already
Verizon
offered the
call.
opportunity to the public
This
to speak,
is
so that's
me
closed.
getting an $85,000 fine. Can you show me some mercy and grace, please?
We've already closed the public
Can I
hearing.
please just say one more thing?
You can say one more thing.
As far as your claim of my father using a computer, he doesn't even know how to use one, and I have footage of him actually standing up. He was not on the computer, so that was not true. I would appreciate it if you would just tell the truth. The thing is, the reason why we stayed open was we just asked you guys, tell us how we are a nuisance, prove up your claim.
Ms. Haverkern, you asked me to present more issue.
I just want to know how we were a
Would you
nuisance.
please stop
There's
interrupting
not
me?
one report
I'm trying to help
of
you.
criminal activity. There's not
If
one
you do not
report
stop
of
speaking,
loitering
I'm
and littering.
going to ask you to leave. To us, please, why your father was there and why he does not have any role in the operation of your dispensary.
He was visiting me. He brings me lunch. He's my father. He has nothing to do with it. I mean, obviously, he has shown himself with no credibility. I have footage of my father not on the computer. That was a bold-faced lie.
Do you have any evidence?
I have footage, yes.
Do you have any evidence that who the owners, who the operators are, who the directors are of your dispensary?
I'm not going to divulge any more evidence. You can look that up on the corporate website. This is an agricultural co-op, a medical cannabis co-op. We paid over $100,000 in taxes. We pay the IRS. We pay sales tax. We are a tax-paying business. We've been open for over 3 years without any nuisance. You guys claim that we're a nuisance because of your Measure G. You guys can't improve up anything.
I asked you questions about your father's. I asked you questions about your father's role. Do you have anything else to say about your father's role or him not having a role in the operation?
There's no proof of him having anything to do with it. He was just there. The reason why they got him was because we have the same last name out of spite, because there's an agenda against me.
Okay.
Seriously, have
thank you for your
mercy.
information.
Mr. Wasserman reports when he went in there, he was sitting in the back room at a desk. We have not seen his name associated with other documents as far as that.
I don't know whether Mr. Haverkern is a party or not, so, and I'm chair, so I can't make a motion, but I'm going to recommend that we delete Richard Haverkern from those that are being assessed, but that we proceed with the fines and penalties as recommended by staff on all the other parties.
After I confronted them and I told them I had video footage. The final inspection resulted in the robbery of our medicine. They did not do inventory, leave a receipt or documentation. So there's no documentation of what was stolen from us. I attempted to photograph the theft taking place, but these same men forcibly took my iPad and deleted my photographic evidence. Thank God our surveillance was on. I was even told that I was going to be charged criminally before they left. If Kern County Code Compliance would have followed their very own internal policy, we wouldn't have been put out of business and had to appear at a total of at least 14 hearings regarding Green Coast Co-op. Our landlord died 1 month after he was served by Kern County regarding a court action they filed against us all, claiming we owe them $310,000 in legal fees, which is currently still pending against us.
Good afternoon. Could you give us your name for the record, please?
My name is Joseph D. Ypez, and Bill is my associate. First of all, I kept going to court time and time again, and the judges kept postponing it to put them out, to cancel the agreement, the lease agreement, so I could evict it. Well, I did this and finally got it through, and I've got a copy of it. Well, I paid the sheriff department $150 to serve them. And to my best of my knowledge, they were never served. And they would notify me when they were going to be served and give them 5 days to get out or put it out on the street. This never happened. That's all I can tell. Second, the county kept imposing fines on me during this whole period of time and sending them to collection and ruining my credit. 3, the county they didn't do anything they said they'd do, which we did what we were supposed to do to get them out of the way. I got all the papers showing what we had to have them served, and the sheriff department, why they didn't follow through, I do not know. Instead, they act like stormtroopers and go in there and when they didn't need to, all they did do was serve them, they would have been out of there, and then they could go in there and put them out on the street. And I got all legal evidence, and my legal advisor advised me all this. I went step by step. So I went back to it before I would give a new lease agreement, because we need the money to live on. I spent $200 a month on drugs alone. Well, I said, what do you think about this, Kenneth? He says, well, this way they're not going to, and that's what they've got. I got that right here, and so I turned around and served them again when I found out they were going to serve marijuana. And here's a copy of that. And here's a copy of the lease agreement. Nowhere does it say they could sell. They had to abide by the law all the way on every law. But the county, they wouldn't cooperate with helping me at all. You know, I'm just thankful today that the buddies I died with from our country when I was with them can't see what this county's come to and what this country is working towards. It's trying to put us all in the poorhouse. And that's exactly what this thing will do if it goes through it. And I get fined $85,000. Any questions?
No, sir.
And by the way, Mike, I went to try to get an appointment with you 3 or 4 times, and I could never get it. And I did call him and talk to him, and I came down here once to get some of those fines lifted off of me so I could at least exist.
Never happened. Are you done, Mr. Yepes?
This retired Korean War veteran suffered emotional stress before his death. Our landlord's wife received a $50,000 fine from Kern County, and she sent a copy of his death certificate in response. Then they stopped the harassment against them, but not us. Our due process and civil rights were violated. We were robbed, intimidated, threatened, arrested, and evidence was spoliated. We were treated like absolute garbage. We even filed a complaint with the sheriff department, and they claim there was no wrongdoing, and there was no record of any of our inventory that was stolen from us.
I was scheduled to be here at 2 p.m. and mysteriously my agenda was dropped today.
Have a seat. I'll come back to you in just a moment, okay? We're dealing with our consent agenda. I'll come back to you in just a second.
Yes, I was scheduled to be here at 2. This is going to be very short.
If you can have a seat, I'll be with you in just a moment. We're in the midst of dealing with our consent agenda. Are there any members of the public that would like an item of consent to be pulled separated from the consent item? Your item, Ms. Gary, with regard to that code issue has already been pulled, so it'll be heard separately.
Okay, can I finish what I was saying, please?
In a moment.
No, I actually have proof that I was
Excuse-
scheduled to be here 11/12/2013. It was sent to my house and
Excuse me.
let me speak. I was scheduled to be here. You
We're gonna
guys
follow our
inconvenienced.
protocol, and if you don't follow our protocol,
I follow the
I'll have you
protocol.
removed
I'm
from our
scheduled to be here.
So I'm going
And
to
I'm
warn you
here,
one more
and
time.
please let me finish speaking.
If you don't stop and let me proceed with our process, I'm going to have you removed from the meeting. Would you like that?
There was an enforcement action that took place on the property in conjunction with code compliance and the sheriff's department. There was a notice provided at that time. In reviewing the case and discussing it with council, we have elected not to put it on the agenda for your board's consideration at this time. The staff was instructed to notify Ms. Haberkern that it would not be held today, and unfortunately I do not have documentation whether they followed through with that notification or not.
All of this occurred on your watch. Under the pretense of a defective and insufficient warrant, and under the provisions of a code, namely Measure G, which was implemented without the requisite environmental case study needed to give it validity. Furthermore, no one has been able to provide any proof that this code has ever applied to Green Coast Co-op. And in closing, I would like to address certain members of the board. Mrs. Perez, you either are or were at one time an attorney in good standing with the bar, and you know these documents before you have both teeth and traction. And Mr. Couch, I don't care what Mr. Maggard told you last time, it's not going to be okay. Not this time. I've copies of the exhibits right here, and I'll be sure that they find their way to the grand jury.
My name's Louie Santana, and I'm the CEO of Green Coast Cooperative.
What was your name
We've
again,
been
sir?
paying Louie Santana.
Thank you.
And we paid over $100,000 in taxes, and we're mandated by the state. And when we first started this business, yeah, keep on coughing when I'm speaking. Have some respect.
Excuse me, sir.
How can you be upset? You terrorized my whole family. This whole Measure G was invalid. You shut down my business. That's all I got to say.
We're back now, and a Kern County judge reaffirmed today that Kern County's measure restricting pot shops is invalid. A judge ruled back in February that the county did not properly investigate the environmental impacts of Measure G. A group argued it violated the California Environmental Quality Act. Measure G put restrictions on where pot shops could be located, and today a judge considered a motion to vacate his original ruling, but decided once again that the county was in the wrong.
On February 14th, 2014, Measure G was ruled illegal in court and was signed by Judge Kenneth Twisselman the same day as my father's funeral, July 16th, 2014. My father shouldn't have been on his deathbed worried about me and what these people were plotting to do next. They used this illegal code and used illegal enforcement to put us out of business. So we suffered for no reason at all. How will taxes be collected? Who benefits? The black market? Criminals? Organized crime? Definitely not the taxpayer. This opens a door for illegal operations to thrive. We're paying government to harass taxpayers. This is exactly why we need regulation. Please repost this video and thank you so much for watching.